friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. This is Homeschool at Heart. My name is Leah Simpson. Today we're going to be talking about our trip to the California Railroad Museum. Okay guys, in my last couple videos I talked about travel schooling, what it is, why we do it, and then a video with some of our resources that we use for long car rides, and I will link those in the description box below. In this video we're going to actually go to an actual place, which is what I've been wanting to do and show you guys. So we did a lot of California history this year, and then at the end of our study of the California history we studied about the railroad. So we got to go to the Railroad Museum in Sacramento, California. It's in Old Town Sacramento, and got to visit that historic site and see all of the things. It was wonderful, guys. So 5 stars for the California Railroad Museum. We're going to show you some footage of what you would expect to see there. I'll have narrated it, and you'll get to see what it's like to take that trip and visit that place. So we really loved it. We're a homeschool family, in case you didn't know by the title of our channel, and they made us feel very welcome, very at home in this particular place, and we really felt like we got a lot out of this particular trip. So let me run down with you really quickly the cost of going to this particular place. So we went to the museum. I have 3 kids, ages 11, 10, and 8. And so they were all $6. Children who are ages 5 and under are free, and adults are $12 for the regular admission. My husband went ahead because we also had my parents, my mom and dad, and my aunt with us. And we wanted to ride the train that goes around the Sacramento Riverfront. We decided to go ahead and get the membership to the museum. We got, sorry, I'm looking at the details here. We got the engineer level 1. So it admits 2 named adults and the members' children or grandchildren, as long as they're under the age of 18, which all of ours were. And then it gives you 4 additional guest passes. So this includes the admission, roundhouse tours, and excursion train ride privileges, a 10% discount, and North American Reciprocal Museum benefits. So anyway, you can go to, there's like several other places you can also use this membership at. So it says that you need to get a membership card, but they just have your name. So when you go, if you have, I think we purchased this membership just a few days ahead of time, thinking we'll just see what happens. If not, we've donated to a really great cause. But it all worked out, and we were able to use that membership that day at the museum, and it got us our tickets to the train. For the train ride, it is adults $15 each, kids $8 each. You can purchase the tickets for the railroad on the day of your trip or ahead of time, so on the website. The railroad, or the train ride, goes Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 11:30 a.m., 1 p.m., and 2:30 p.m. The actual museum is open daily from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. except for, on major holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's. So you can go any day of the week, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. with those prices, and you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and stop at this intro portion of the video to go on to the part that you guys all came here to see, which is taking you inside the museum. When you first enter the Railroad Museum, you come into this really large and kind of echoey room, and here's some shots to give you kind of the lay of the land. But you can take a guided tour, which is about a 30-minute tour with one of the museum docents, and I really highly recommend it because it kind of gets you started. You could totally be done with the museum after those 30 minutes and get a really good education that way, but we chose to stay and see a few more things. pleasantly surprised to find a few little hands-on things that the kids could touch because, you know, kids and museums and keeping their fingers away from stuff. But this was a really cool little exhibit here as we were waiting for the tour to start.
Our curry, they can only go maybe 6 inches, maybe up to 12 inches in 24 hours. So if you can imagine working in this dark.
We have been studying California history this year with Beautiful Feet books, and one of the things that they covered in the history was that the Chinese workers, the immigrant workers, were just essential to the building of the railroad, and that it could not have happened without them. And this tour guide was very good about talking about just the living conditions that they worked in and how hard it was for them to keep going with this, but we're so thankful that they did. This train car is actually one of the original ones that first came to the Sacramento area, and unfortunately woodpeckers have all but destroyed it, and so they have a little woodpecker on display there to show that that's what the damage is from. This is one of the original golden spikes that signaled the end of the line for the original railroad tracks. It's hard to see on there, but there is an engraving that says, "May God continue the unity of our country as this railroad unites the two great oceans of the world." Another cool thing at the Railroad Museum is that you can actually go inside some of the trains.
What are the 2 different things they use to power these steam trains?
Coal.
And?
Steam.
And what?
And wood.
And wood. So coal or wood makes the water boil and produces the steam.
I tried to get some footage of the inside of some of these other cars that we couldn't actually go into, but they showed kind of how everything looked back in the day. But with the glass and the lights and all the glare, it was just too hard to really get a good picture of what was going on inside of there. But I'm going to take you through a couple of the cars that we were actually able to go inside of.
Oh, here's a porter serving everybody.
One quarter for the whole
Yeah.
car.
It's a very busy job.
First stage of people creating and travel at night and sleep so we continue their journey.
Oh, look, there's the bed.
Conductor, she's right. Anybody know what a conductor's job is?
To run the train.
To run the train. What do you mean by that exactly? You're on the right track. I mean, I don't mean that as a joke, but I'm gonna have to figure out another way to say that. But anyway, you're close. The conductor is the boss of the entire train. The people that work in the locomotive, the fireman and the engineer, they answer to the conductor. All the porters that work on these trains to make sure you're safe and comfortable, they all work for the conductor. So it's a pretty easy job unless things go wrong. Then you know what happens. They come to the conductor and he has to figure it out.
Awesome.
Yes, and they come up with all the solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you have a smooth running crew and no unforeseen incidents, it's a pretty nice job.
Very
Awesome.
And the deal here is every one of these seats that you see is going to be turned into bunk beds tonight, and you'll see what that looks like behind me. So,
Okay.
yeah, you folks are standing in there where it looks during the daytime. Behind me is what it looks like at night. And then you're going to see a couple of private rooms. They have doors. We put books back in there so you can see it. One of the nice things about that, they have some privacy.
The other interesting thing about walking through this particular train is that it rocked like you were walking on an actual train. So, sorry if it makes you feel like you're moving. That's because I was moving as I was holding the camera.
These are the private rooms.
Yeah.
Oh, there's somebody sleeping in here.
Show you what it looked like when it was down. Yeah.
Here's the bath. Oh, and here's the kitchen.
That's it.
Hey there.
This channel right here was used in this park.
Oh.
Now we have some reproduction of it over there, but this is the original. And every now and then, yeah. Now this was in use on the Baltimore and Ohio. They didn't change their pattern. For over 50 years, they kept the same pattern.
One thing we really appreciated was that if you go upstairs in the train museum, you can see these exhibits of all these really cool model trains and toy trains and things like that. But there's also a little play area for your kids to visit as well, so that they can kind of run off some energy, play with some little wooden train sets. There's like a little mini playground in there. It's just a really great place for families to take their little kids that need a little bit of museum relief. This had a little working Thomas the Train exhibit, and you could push buttons and make some little parts move and kind of watch Thomas run around his cute little track with his friends. In the middle of our museum trip, we went on a little train excursion that is right next door, where you can go around the Sacramento Riverfront on a train with some conductors that will talk about the area and how trains work and all of those cool things. The kids are waving right here to men who are training some police horses. These are horses that have been retired from other work, and they're trying to keep them with jobs to do so that they can stay alive. And then they showed how a train connects to the other cars. This was a really cool thing for my kids. They really loved watching that safely from a distance on the train. And then we even got to wave good morning to Governor Newsom, who waves to the 11:30 train every morning.
US 40. US 40 was decommissioned in California when they built Interstate 80. And at that point, the federal government needed somebody to maintain the bridge. The city of Sacramento didn't want to take that responsibility, nor did West Sacramento. So it fell upon the state of California. As such, they needed to legislate it with a California highway designation. So that bridge is California 275.
This volunteer was so awesome. He even took the kids like across the street to the river to see some sea lions that had migrated there for the spring. Also, some notable places to eat. We ate lunch at the Rio City Cafe, and the food was amazing and also affordable. So they had $10 kids meals, and then I think the adult food was about $20 per person, but the food was so good. Also, everyone on YouTube is talking about Danny's Donuts, guys, and it is not overhyped. This place is great. The donuts are really tasty, really well priced for what they are, and also they make them right in front of you. So that was a really fun thing for the kids to watch and then get to eat these little mini donuts that were so yummy. You can get them with sprinkles or without. They have 4 flavors: chocolate, powdered sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon sugar, and we all loved the cinnamon sugar one the best. Danny's Donuts is actually right across the street from the Railroad Museum too, so it's convenient. How was it, everybody?
Yummy!
Yummy, yummy! another thing I wanted to mention was that because the Railroad Museum is in Old Town Sacramento, you can kind of see the area while you're there. This is the only monument to the Pony Express, and so we took the opportunity to go see it, but the town structure and stuff is really quaint and fun, but it's just regular shops in there, so if you're looking for something quaint and fun to do, Old Town itself might be a little bit disappointing, but it sure is fun to look at. Well, that is it for our trip to the Railroad Museum. I hope you guys had a good time coming along with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. I usually will talk about something that's going on in our personal lives at the end of the videos, and so if you are not interested in that, you could go ahead and sign out here. But I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a funny story about something that happened this week. I have been babysitting my niece and my nephew for a couple of days a week for the last month or so, since we got back from this trip actually, and they are so funny. They are 1.5 and 2.5, and they are just my favorite people. I love them so much, but they're hilarious, you guys. I don't have toddlers anymore, and so it's so fun to get to spend time with them. It is exhausting, but it is fun. And I get baby snuggles and all of that stuff while I'm with them, and it's just amazing. But it used to be that my niece Evelyn did not like me, but now that I'm watching her without, other adults there, she's like, okay, we're best friends. Like this week, she didn't even want her dad back. She only wanted me, which was amazing to me, not to him. But anyway, she calls me Mermaid. I don't know why. It's just my name from the baby. My youngest daughter used to call my Beth, she would call her Beppy, and I'm also not sure. I mean, it seems like it is kind of close to Beth or Beppy. She called her Beppy, so we just have always called her that since Charlotte started calling her that, maybe like 6 years ago or something. And so it's kind of carried on over to my sister's kids, and for the longest time, my nephew was like talking about some person named Bobby, and we could not figure out who Bobby was. And so they thought maybe he had like an imaginary friend, something like that. And turns out he was talking about Beppy. So now Beppy is Bobby. And apparently my 2 other kids are both named Charlotte. So this week we were over there on Father's Day, and my nephew kept calling Ellie Charlotte. And so Ellie was like, that's not my name. Can you just please call me Ellie? And stop calling me Charlotte. And so he like thinks about it a little bit. My sister's like, hey, can you, like, let's call her Ellie. And he goes, sorry, Charlotte. And we all just busted up, you guys. It was so funny. He still doesn't know Ellie's name. Still, she's still Charlotte. I'm looking at her right now. So anyway, that's my story for you guys this week. I hope you're having a great week, and I will see you in the next video with the Marshall Gold Discovery Park. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.